Terence Crawford makes a statement against Canelo Alvarez, and it wasn't even close. I knew it wasn't going to be close. I knew Terence Crawford wasn't going to knock him out, but I sure as hell was sure that he was going to beat him in a decision, and he'd make it look easy. He made it look easy. Yeah, Terence Crawford, felt a little bit of the power of Canelo, but it wasn't enough to the point where Terence Crawford said, all right, I'm going to respect him. And I loved what I saw from Terence Crawford. He did everything I knew he could do. He pulled out the whole arsenal for this fight, and you saw him attacking open space, landing his combinations, turning, getting out of the corners. And as soon as he felt, his back against the ropes, he turned the corner, created an angle, and made it very difficult for Canelo Alvarez to land a big shot. Canelo had a difficult time in there keeping up with a guy like Terence Crawford because of the footwork. The footwork is a big thing in the sport of boxing. It's huge. People don't understand how important movement is. And for Canelo, he's a great puncher, but he doesn't have great movement. He doesn't have great footwork. And I knew that was going to be the story of the fight. It sure was. Terence Crawford got it done. And a lot of you guys told me, you don't know about boxing. Delete your page. You don't know about boxing. This is just for the people out there. When people tell you stuff like that, you got to stick to your guns, because no one really knows what they're talking about. You got to be confident in what you believe, because I knew Crawford was going to do that. And everybody, most people on my page said, oh, there's no way it's going to happen. They couldn't even imagine Crawford winning. They said he was going to sleep. Come on, man. Crawford made that look easy. That was easy work, easy money, easy payday for Terence Crawford. He didn't even break a sweat. And, Canelo even headbutted him accidentally, but Terence Crawford wasn't even phased. Imagine if Crawford didn't get cut above the eye. It could have been really ugly. You saw, Crawford grab the attention of Canelo, and Bud has power. I told you guys, you can talk about weight, but it's the same science. If you take a guy with muscles, does that mean he's going to beat a guy that knows how to box? No, it's that similar logic that you have to apply with Terence Crawford and Canelo. Obviously, Canelo knows how to box, but there's levels. There's levels when the guy is smaller. You guys all looked at Canelo and said, he's too big. Yeah, but Crawford's too fast. Crawford's too good of a boxer. And when you're at 147, 154, that's such a sweet spot to be in, because you're so much faster than a guy at 168 or 175. That's why he made it look so easy. If you guys can't comprehend, even after watching the fight, how Canelo wasn't able to beat Crawford, you guys got to understand the guys at the lower weight classes are significantly faster and more skillful. We saw that on display tonight, and Terence Crawford put on a masterclass performance against Canelo Alvarez. This isn't to disrespect Canelo, because I think he's a good fighter, but I knew that this was going to happen. I knew that styles make fights, and Crawford's style was going to be terrible because he has fast hands. He has good enough footwork to the point where he knows how to attack open space and cut angles off to make it sure that Canelo can't set his feet. If Canelo can't set his feet, he's not going to be able to hit you. He's not going to be able to hit you clean and land something with a lot of power. He needs you to sit right in front of him so he can really plant his legs and throw a big shot. If Canelo can't do that, he's not going to beat you. You saw Bud, as soon as he was backed into a corner, he was turning this way, he was turning that way. That's what you got to do in boxing. Movement is so uber important in the sport of boxing. It's a lost art, honestly, and Terence Crawford is one of those guys that puts it on display beautifully. You saw it. You saw it every time they tried to back him up. Every time that Canelo tried to press the action, Crawford was ready for it. If he didn't have an answer himself, he let Canelo try to back him to a corner, and he'd back off. He'd create space. That's what it's about. That's what beautiful boxing looks like. And Crawford, like I said, put on a masterclass because he understands how to manage distance. That's the beauty of being such a good fighter that understands range. And having Shakur Stevenson in camp, I'm sure Shakur helped in that sense, because Shakur knows how to manage distance very well. Terence Crawford clearly knows how to manage distance very well. He was either super close to Canelo or on the outside. In that middle range is where Canelo's dangerous, because you can get cracked with a counter punch. But if Canelo can't, like I said, plant his feet and land something in mid-range, you're going to be chilling on the outside. Or if you're super close to him like Bud did sit in the pocket at moments, and you saw him have success because he was too close. Canelo couldn't land his big shots because he doesn't have, the leverage. When your guy's this close to you, how is Canelo supposed to land a big shot? Crawford did a beautiful job in there. Respect to both guys, but Crawford, obviously the better man, the more talented man. He made history at 168. So shout out to Bud Crawford. Congratulations, you deserve it. You worked hard for that, and you're one of the best of all time. Really great performance from Bud Crawford against Canelo. Wins a unanimous decision, no question about it. Bud Crawford is an all-time legend. Shout out to Bud. Peace.